Arsenal move into the last four of the Carabao Cup. We have reached the semi-finals and just 3 games away from the final at Wembley in February. Arsenal have reached semi-final for the first time in, I believe, it's 4 years. The last semi-final I can remember was when we played Bradford City and lost them on penalties. That was way back in 2013. So we are going to be reaching the semi-final for the first time in a long time, and we have got on vengeance for West Ham denying us 3 points at the London Stadium this time last week, and we have managed to get over the line to get into the next stage of this competition. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. These are my thoughts and feelings to the game at the Emirates Stadium tonight in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, which saw Arsenal take on West Ham in a kind of, not really a rematch, but Arsenal and West Ham faced each other this time last Wednesday, and we have faced each other yet again for the second time in just under a week to play them for a chance to get a place in the last 4 of the Carabao Cup, also known as the League or English League Cup trophy. And I mean, for me, this is kind of a big game really, because Arsenal have not won this competition. This is the only competition that Arsene Wenger's not won as man. We've won. I think we've got like 2 or 3 League Cup trophies in our history. But Arsene Wenger, this and the Champions League are the only 2 trophies that he's never ever won. So it's important to try and win this trophy. We got close in 2011 before we lost to Birmingham City, and we got to a semi-final against Bradford City before losing that. And over the last couple of years, we've gone out either like the 3rd round, the 4th round, or the quarterfinals. I remember going out kind of 2 years ago. We played Sheffield Wednesday and got beaten 3-0, absolutely ripped apart. Last season, Southampton beat us miserably, and we've always seemed to go out in the early stages. But, credit to Arsene Wenger, credit to Arsenal. They're getting the job done right here, right now, and he's doing it not with the strongest lineup, as I may say, and we are getting over the line. Obviously, in the last round, we played, I think it was Norwich. I believe it was Norwich. Let me have a quick check. I know we've played Doncaster in, I believe, round 3 maybe. Let's have a look. Let's have a cheeky look at the teams that we have played so far, because we have played, our last Carabao Cup game was, I'm pretty sure it is the Norwich game, and it is the Norwich game, which we played on the 25th of October, and we won that the Arsenal way, courtesy of A. Nikita, and that took us into the quarterfinals. Before that, we played Doncaster. So we've done the job in terms of, I'm just checking to see if we have had any more Carabao Cup games. No, we have not. So we did do it the Arsenal way. And Arsene Wenger has been using youngsters in the Europa League, and he's using youngsters now in the Carabao Cup. And today he made 11 changes. Obviously, we've got Liverpool on the horizon on Friday night, so I wasn't expecting any of the first team to really play. But he brought in Danny Welbeck, Olivier Giroud, Theo Walcott, a very good front line. Olivier Giroud is quite capable as a striker. Walcott, Welbeck have got sheer pace going down the wings. Coquelin, Mohamed Elneny and Joe Willock in the midfield. Debussy, Chambers holding, and Said Kolasinac. The only person that is probably going to feature against Liverpool is Said Kolasinac, David Ospina in goal. As for West Ham, they brought in Joe Hart. It was the same back 5, Masuaku, Ogbonna, Collins, Reed and Creswell. And then we had the start for West Ham that had Rice, Obiang, Andre Ayew, Javier Hernandez and Kuna came off, but they were in the starting line. So it's a pretty strong West Ham team, and it wasn't the greatest game, as I've seen from the highlights. We had 8 shots, 1 on target. West Ham only had 1 shot. The only goal or only chance that was on target was the one that Arsenal converted. We had 67% possession. West Ham had 33%. So it wasn't the greatest game. It's not going to be a game that's going to be living in many memories of the Arsenal fans. I can tell you that for certain. It's not going to be a game that you remember kind of in 3-4 months' time. But we got the job done. A fairly standard team. I like the kind of mixture of inexperience and youth, or no, not experience and youth, experience and youth that Arsene Wenger has nested into this side. And I was a little bit hesitant when I first saw the team, not going to lie, because we're getting towards that stage of the competition. Obviously, I know we've got Liverpool on Friday. That's a must-win game for our Premier League season, so I can understand why Arsene Wenger is going to rest many players. I get that 100%. But there's a chance that if you put out a weaker side towards the end, the late stages of this competition, then there's a chance that you're going to get absolutely screwed over. And I think if we get one of the big boys in the semi-final, I will be absolutely not miffed, but I'll be very, very kind of agitated and annoyed that Arsene Wenger hasn't put out a strong side, particularly as it's over 2 legs, the semi-final, before you play the final. So I expect now kind of, your Sanchez's, or if they're going to still be here in January when we play our semi-final games, depending on whatever Sanchez knows Romania, but I expect like Lacazette to start. You can play a mixture of experience and youth in the early stages. Once you get kind of towards the bread and butter of the competition, you've really got to start playing your bigger guns, that is for certain. But, tonight Arsene Wenger took a gamble because West Ham are a really good side, and if you play, that mixture of inexperience, but also, players that can hold the experienced ones' hands and drive them along, there's always a chance that West Ham could exploit that, but they just didn't do that whatsoever. And we created chances. I think it was one of those games where Arsenal had a lot of possession, obviously, create chances, playing it backwards, sideways, and West Ham just didn't really do much. I do know they brought on Andy Carroll, and I think they subbed off Javier Hernandez. Yeah, they did. And Andy Carroll made his way on, as did Marko Arnautovic. And once they came on, West Ham started to look a bit more lively and sharp, but then Arsenal just seeded out the game and got the win in the end, courtesy of Danny Welbeck. A lovely bit of play. I mean, it was just really, really easy. Matthew Debussy, who has been quite good actually, if I'm not mistaken, he scored a brilliant goal against Bate Borisov in the Europa League. If you remember when we beat them 6-0, but he crossed the ball in to West Ham centre back. I think it was Collins and who else was it? James Collins and Aaron Creswell came out to try and take the ball. It then fell to Welbeck, who literally just had a tap in and see it on. It wasn't the greatest goal in truth. I don't think it was the greatest game in truth, but that doesn't really matter. It was a really cheap and kind of sloppy goal that West Ham conceded, but that we latched onto. Danny Welbeck popping up and getting himself a very, very crucial goal, and maybe has given Arsene Wenger a little bit of a selection headache. I don't think he's a star, but certainly, potentially if he's played extremely well tonight, Arsene Wenger may consider him, maybe, just maybe. I doubt it, but it does give Arsene Wenger a few options, because Welbeck sees an opportunity and snatched on the chance to bag himself a goal, and that is what you want your strikers or your wide strikers to do. If a chance and an opportunity arises in the box, you expect them to take it and take it in a clear-cut, quick way, and Danny Welbeck certainly did that. We scored that just before half time, and in the second half it was just about sitting out the game, holding on to the win. West Ham didn't really offer anything in terms of creativeness going forward. They only had one shot. It wasn't even on target. And as I said, the only shot on target came from Danny Welbeck's basically tapping that he had at the very centre after West Ham's defensive error. So we move into the last 4. At this particular moment, I want to check, because it's around about 25%, I want to check the Leicester-Manchester City score, because Man City were winning, and then Jamie Vardy snatched a very, very late equaliser. So if we go into it right now, it's still 1-1, and it's the end of extra time, so they are going to penalties. So ideally, if we can get Leicester City, that would be great, because if we get one of the big boys, I'm pretty safe to say that we're not going to win the Carabao Cup. I mean, we might do, but I highly doubt it. Manchester United, I think who are in the other? I know Chelsea are definitely in it, and Bournemouth. Pretty sure Man United, Man United, Bristol City. So if Bristol City and Bournemouth can win tomorrow, that will put us in a very, very good set. Unless they win on penalties, we will have a great chance. But my kind of the reality of it, I'm pretty safe to assume that Chelsea will go through tomorrow against Bournemouth. Manchester United will comfortably get past Bristol. And if Man City win on penalties, we're going to get either Man City, Chelsea, or Manchester United, which I did say very early on that I wanted one of the big boys. But now we're so close to the final, and we're just 3 games away. 3 wins us this trophy, and I'd love to get our hands on a trophy. It's not the trophy that we want, but it's a trophy at the end of the day. And if you can get your hands on it, and you've gone through the games and got wins and got yourself into that position and end up winning it, and great, that's brilliant. And it'd be nice for Arsene Wenger to add that to kind of all the trophies that he has picked up at Arsenal. And the Champions League is the only one he's missing, and I don't think he's ever going to get that. So if he can get every single trophy but that, it will be another step towards what a lustrous career he's had at Arsenal. It doesn't take away anything from the form that we have. We are not in the greatest form whatsoever. We haven't been for a very, very long time, and we just need to get back to winning ways. A win on Friday, anything other than a win, it will be a disastrous end going into Christmas. We have to win this game. We have to beat Liverpool first and foremost, and that is a huge game. All eyes, where we can sit back and enjoy what the other teams will do, and we can also think to ourselves on who we're going to get in the semi-final and the draw on Wednesday. We can sit back, relax, and be kind of with a certain amount of trepidation and kind of be a little bit excited to what team we're going to receive in the semi-final. But then all eyes and all focus, the mission is solely focusing on Friday's game in the Premier League against Liverpool, a showdown just before Christmas, and we really need to get a win from that. As I said, anything other than a win will be a failure. But tonight, I'm happy Danny Welbeck got ourselves a goal. Not the greatest game in truth, but when is an Arsenal game, incidentally, is not, has its moments, and there's been a lot of games that I've seen over the last couple of years that has not been great spectacles. So this certainly wasn't a great spectacle, but we got ourselves the win nonetheless, using a mixture of inexperience and first team starters, and it was good to get those youngsters more minutes on the field. Great to see Danny Welbeck starting to get himself a goal. The only negative of tonight is firstly there were some fights that kicked off between Arsenal fans, which is just always horrible to see, and Olivier Giroud did go off injured, and it does look a bad one, so that isn't the greatest thing, but we're not going to let it damper out on what has been a good night for the boys into the semi-final. And I will sit back, relax, enjoy the other Carabao Cup quarter-final games. And come on, is the Manchester City Leicester City game finished? Come on, show me just before we go. It is not showing me what the final result is. I'll find out once I wrap up this video. So hopefully we can get Leicester City out, or we're probably going to get Manchester City and get absolutely battered. So again, it's going to be interesting to see who we get ourselves in the semi-final draw, and those ties will probably be played around about the middle of January normally. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what side Arsene Wenger puts out for semi-final, but he can relax and focus on the big game on Friday night against Liverpool. That is where we're going to leave analysing Arsenal today for you guys. Please make sure to leave a like on the video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more great content. Check out my other content as well if you fancy it. And until next time, I shall speak to you later. I rejoin you for Friday's analysing Arsenal, the final one before Christmas, as we face Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium in a heavyweight Christmas, well, hopefully it's going to be a Christmas cracker, but a Christmas showdown, which hopefully the Red of London will oversee and take down the Red of Merseyside. We shall see, and I'll rejoin you on Friday for my thoughts and feelings on that. Until next time, this is Steve Bagpuss signing out, and I shall see you all later. Take care, and see you all soon.